All right, so today I need to do a little bit of watering in here, but before then, I want to talk to you a little bit about my tree philodendron. We could put it right here. All right, so I did some research and I found out that this plant, hold on, give you the name of it because whew, I am not going to be able to pronounce that, but it's called Thunutellaphyllum bifolium, whatever kind of plant that's called, the tree philodendron. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this plant. This is in the philodendron family. We do want to give it like a nice chunky airy mix, as with most philodendrons or any tropical houseplant in general. Um, if you do want to know what kind of mix I use, you can ask me. I've said it so many times. I know if you're a person that's been here before, you know like how many times you don't say it, so I won't bore you with it. But you definitely want to give this plant some light. Now, this plant is actually in like a south or north facing window. So the east and the west facing window, I'm not saying that it doesn't have some truth to it because it does. East facing window really does provide the plant with enough light, and they always do pretty well in it. But any window that you give a plant versus having no window is going to be a win. So this plant sits right there by it, and it's actually a house that even blocks even more of its light. But it has the window all to itself. And when it started off as a juvenile, just a baby plant, you could see where the leaves, like how they look versus how they're growing now. Um, this is the only stem that the plant will actually grow on. The rest of these, they will just grow to being wide. It's supposed to get up to somewhere between like 60 inches, not 60 inches, yeah, about 6 feet. And it's like 3 feet wide, something like that. So it's a pretty big plant. I do have another stem over here starting to grow, and I believe that I could put that on there because it's like a trunk, kind of like this stem right here. I'll be able to place this on a board and get that to grow too. So we'll figure that part out a little bit later. Other than that, though, um, I did watering yesterday, not yesterday, but last week when we did watering, some of my plants, the leaves turned a little bit yellow. So I think I overfed them a little bit. So I'm definitely going to be mindful of that. When I put it into the big orange bucket this time, I'm going to go ahead and mix that in there and get that going beforehand. Um, let's talk a little bit about, unless you have a few questions, then I'm gonna go ahead and just start talking a little bit about what we have going on here in the room. And if it's okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move y'all around some. Okay. All right. So over here, this section. Over here. So this is my Monstera section that I have over here. So I usually give this section about 8 to 12 hours of grow light. Now there is a window that's on the back part, but for the most part they're pretty good and they're chilled. The Monstera Thai constellations are very, very easy to grow. The main thing about Monsteras is just make sure that you keep an eye on them because they can get pests pretty fast, thrips, if we're really being honest, and they can really just do a number on your plants. But if you're able to just eye down what's going on as far as pests and control that early on, they won't be a problem for you. Yes, they do not like to dry out 100%, and they start giving you cues that the plant's starting to dry out. Their leaves will usually start folding down a little bit, like a little bit of inward, and that will tell you right there that's the dead giveaway. Because when they are full, nice, and fluff, you see that their leaves, they sit up at the top and they point as well. But if this plant was dry, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Here we go. This plant right here. This is my Monstera Esqueleto. Now, I have some out in the living room that are doing great. This one right here in particular, let's get to some light so you can see and we could talk about it. Sorry about that. I do need to change that cover so it doesn't do that. Okay, so this right here is my Monstera Esqueleto. I did a repotting on this plant. Repotted it the same way I repot all of my plants. Sometimes you just get some problematic plants. So This plant right here has been potted in a really nice, good, chunky mix for it to do well. However, this plant also used to be two plants. And after taking half of the plant away, it just requires a different type of care. Am I still learning it? And I separated the root system. They was all on one root and I kind of had to split it in half. And then I have another one over there that's doing halfway decent. What I believe I'm gonna have to do is just cut this plant all the way down at the bottom and just let it start. Because if not, the plant is gonna continue growing, but I'm still gonna have these at the bottom. And then what's gonna happen is I'm gonna have a long stem. You ever seen somebody's plants who have a long stem here at the bottom and then it's bushy at the top? That's because they lost all their plants down here. I have a few plants that are like that, and I don't like the way it looked. So I would rather just go ahead and start from the beginning. But in the midst of me doing that, I am paying attention to see if I have any nodes that I can possibly, as in, I do have one. Let's see if we can get you right here. Oh, there you see right here. Now, all I have to do is get this into some perlite and a little bit of peat moss and just water it. And this plant, I'll be able to grow a whole nother plant from that. So the only leaves I would lose are just the ones that I can't get area roots for, which I'm okay in the long run of having a plant that's going to grow all the way healthy from the bottom, that's going to look good, other than having one that's a little scraggly. Yeah. But how is your morning going so far? How's everybody's day? And is this a good time for me to hop on here for y'all? For some of you all that this may not be the first time, I just want to know a good time to hop on here. I want to be convenient. I'm usually here at the house and can hop on between a few hours or so forth. So just drop that in the comment. So, all right. So let's talk about this. This right here is my Monstera albo. This was a gift that was actually sent to me that I took out. I think it's some mail getting dropped off. That I took out the box about 2 days ago, and it's starting to fill all the way back in a little bit. I just have this in the same thing that I was telling you all about with the area roots. If I cut that escalator off, what I would put it in. This is exactly the mix that I'm using. A little bit of sphagnum moss and some perlite, the size 3 perlite, and you can get that off of Amazon for like $20 for a big box. I guess I should talk to you a little bit about the plant. It's a Monstera albo. I've wanted this plant for about 3-4 years now. I didn't buy it because, you know, they're expensive plants. So I didn't want to take that. I didn't believe in myself enough to go and spend $200 to get a decent one. So I just kept on delaying it and saying, hey, the better I learn how to care for my plants, then I know that I'm ready to go ahead and reward myself. And plant care has been going pretty good. Now, I will say that this one right here is probably one of my most trickiest plants. And because I just don't know how to, I know I'm supposed to be giving this plant more. I just don't know what. I don't know if it's a support or what it is. That's why I'll say about variegated plants are a little bit more complicated to take care of than just a regular all green one, in my opinion. But we'll see. All right. Anybody got any plants you want me to talk about? Let me make sure nobody put nothing. Yes, that was a philodendron. I'm sorry. I'm just seeing the message. Hopefully you're still here. Is it Moya? Yeah, this right here is a philodendron. We can come over here. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what I have going on over here. Let's get a little bit of light. And I'm gonna use this as a pointer so that way I don't have to be all in the way. So right here we have, this is the Scindapsus exotica. This is a very, very easygoing plant if you want to get something that you don't have to do a lot of care for on a day-to-day basis. You just give this plant a window and you water it when it's dry, and it's going to be good to go. Right here, this is the Zebra Blue. I've had this plant probably for 4 or 5 months. I bought it pretty much at this length right here, and then everything else is grown has been what's been grown in my care. This is an easy growing, fast growing plant as well. Now the goal is to put this plant on some type of moss pole or some type of support, and I guess I could move over a little bit. Some type of moss pole and some type of support, and these leaves actually split into bigger leaves. Now I'm gonna show you something that's kind of similar to it that will also split its leaves. Hold on. Right here. Now this is the Epipanerum pentum. Don't, I'll be tearing names up. Y'all know how I do. But this right here is also a plant that once I put it on like a, I could put it on a moss pole or stake or anything like that, and the leaves will start to split or fenestrate. All right. All right. And I'm going to do my best to keep looking into that lens. I keep looking all the way over there. All right. Now, if nobody's interested in this, let me know because I don't want to feel like I'm boring people. But that's pretty much my plant care stuff over there. Nothing really, really new. I haven't bought any plants. We can go back to it. I haven't bought any plants to go in this room in a long time. Because I've just gotten to the point where I just want to better care for my plants than just buying and adding to the collection for my plants. Speaking of one of my plants that turned a little yellow from the watering, the philodendron. All right, this is my philodendron green, philodendron Florida green. And I have a few yellow leaves that came from watering. Now, as long as it's down there at the bottom, it is no need for any type of alarm. You know, the plant's doing okay. One thing that I would do, I would check at the bottom to make sure that the roots are okay, because if a plant is sitting in water for a long time, the roots, they will also cause the plant to start yellow. That's why I was gonna repot my burrow monarchs back there, but a lady told me that if it's not the top of the plants, it's just the side of the plants, that would be all right. What was that? Oh, this is planted in the UP. Hey, Nikki. Thanks. All right, so I'm just gonna cut this leaf off right here. Be careful when you are cutting leaves or getting rid of them, and make sure you don't damage the actual main part if you're doing any type of cutting. Now, this plant's pretty good. Now, I do see a little bit of yellowing in this leaf, and it's not all the way green, but I'm not gonna stress about it. I'm gonna let that be. So it's very, very important that you do your weekly checks or I say daily checks. Weekly checks is you get a little bit more involved in there, but your daily checks are just see if anything's just weird. One morning I came downstairs and I had a plant that had completely fell, just hit the floor. Had I not walked in here, I would have never seen it because there's just so many plants over there that it could just fell in there, tucked behind, and it was good to go. I just turned to check to make sure it was okay. Now it's the plant that's all the way back there. Let's see, where is it at? I know it's leaning a little bit, but the plant right there to the left, that leaf is in the way. Okay, you see the plant back with the, right here. This is the philodendron orange marmalade, and it actually needs some water. I could tell by the leaves and all. I just, it is bone dry. That's what we're here for. All right. So this one right here is a philodendron El Choco Red, and clearly it's the humidity is a problem for this plant. Now I may put this plant upstairs just because it does not like grow lights. Okay, no matter where I put this plant at, it just does not like grow lights. It works hard to pull away from it. So I'm definitely gonna have to go ahead and give it some cutting, give it a little bit of loving, and just take care of the dry leaves because this isn't healthy for the plant. And we're gonna go from there. So we definitely gonna take care of this plant today. Now, I don't need to repot this plant. All I need to do is just do a little work. Now, if some of these leaves are just really damaged, then I am just going to go ahead and cut them. Just so that way the plant can focus on pushing something out new. Because if you have a plant that has dead leaves or dead stems on there, the plant will still push its energy towards it, guys. So go ahead and cut that dead part off. It's not doing you or the plant any good, okay? So I'm going to set it over here just so I don't put it in the way, because if I put this plant over here, all right. And so this is how you can tell this plant is completely dry. I'm gonna show y'all some indicators because this is the plant that fell. And when I put it back, I guess I forgot to give it some more water to put in here. You see how dry those leaves look? This is an indication that this plant is dry. So now what I'm not gonna do is put the water at the bottom and wait for it. I'm gonna go ahead and water the plant from the top. And since it dried out like this, I am not going to put plant food in it this time. I'm going to put my Super Thrive in here because that has vitamins and it's going to help this plant since it really just dried out completely. You don't want your plants to dry out this bad, okay? If you're new here, you just got here, this plant fell down on the floor and it lost water and I did not put water back in it. So I'll put that right there. And if you all just give me 1 minute, I'm gonna actually go get some water so we could do that now because I feel bad. At least you'll be able to get the sound effects. And I am using some warm water, guys, okay? Well, room temperature water. And I'm rinsing it all the way out because I use fish food in here and I don't want old residue inside of here. All right. Now, I don't believe that it's a right or wrong amount that you can use for your Super Thrive. They do recommend like 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon to your water, but we're only going to use a little bit of it. Although you probably shouldn't listen to me because we saw what happened when I decided to give my plants a little bit of extra food. So I'm going to put a little bit in here, right there. And it smells like vinegar. I don't know if you have ever tried this before or used it, but it smells like vinegar. And every time I find a way to accidentally spills it. So like it falls in the floor, no matter how much stuff I use to clean, still never comes out. Takes it a while. All right, so here we are. And again, I'm just gonna water it from up here. Now we can hear it going down at the bottom. I'm gonna put the mic up to it, let's see. I don't think that did anything, did it? Okay. Anyway, we can see that the water did go through here, and it is water down here at the pot. Now, I just saw that pot, and it is important to clean out these pots too. So I was not prepared to do all that work. So I will clean that pot out some other time. Definitely won't be today, but at least the plant got water. That's just me being completely honest on how I do things. That's why my plants have to be easy and they have to be forgiven because I still, at the end of the day, am learning how to give these plants the best way possible with the space that I have. Like, um, I talked a little bit about what I'm going to be doing starting next month with plans. I don't know 100%, but I'm going to be getting a saw. And when I get the saw, I'm going to start building shelves and tables that are going to be suited for here in the room. I'm hoping that I can add some. Sorry, I just changed my name. I made this account too. Everything was. Oh, that's okay. It's all good. But I'm going to put, what I'm going to do is take all the shelves that I have in here right now, um, possibly cut those up, the ones that are wood, and I could use those for the legs that I'm going to use on the tables to build. But I don't know exactly when I'm going to start working on it. Okay. It's just, I'm actually quite nervous. And I really, if I'm being honest with you guys, I thought that I was going to have the money and everything ready to go when it came up with. But, my wife and I were in this business, and I just found out that she used some money to be able to fund the company in a different way. But I thought we was using it for advertisement. So I'm going to have to pull some of my money in. But it's cool because I get to say that I'm an investor and all of this. I don't know. Anyway, guys. All right. So now what we have going on as well as these right here are some scandapses. And I never know when to really share these because I always keep them in the bag all the time. One of them is a peace sign, and the other one is a I don't know. But here we go. So when I originally got them, I used to just keep them out in the room, and I was told I needed to keep them in the bag because of the humidity. So that's one right there. Now don't hold me to it. I don't know. One of them is the peace sign, and the girl who sent them to me, her name is Green Punches on Instagram, if you all ever want to know. I think she just launched her first Palm Street or something. I I'm bad with auction online. I'll end up buying everything, and when they send me the bill amount, I'm just shocked. So I try to stay away from the live auctions, but I know that she's on there. I don't know if she offers that though, like to the side, like if I email her or message her if she has a store that's open that you could just buy anytime. Okay, so this one right here, I don't know. This one may be the same one. Yeah, she's pretty good. No, now, okay, so let me go here because I know I'm about to. Now, if you want to see some plants, guys, on here, okay, you see Nikki in the Upper Peninsula, you all need to go to her Instagram. Now, her Instagram is planted. Replace Nikki with planted. No, you all, if you want to see some beautiful plants and somebody who can care for them and a whole lot of them from different varieties, check out her Instagram. I'm telling you, you'll be shocked. Now, she has taught me how to care for a lot of my plants. Now, one of them that I wish I would have paid more attention to was that Sister's Discolor. I'm telling you what, I thought I did everything right. I thought I did. I gave it, put it in a self-watering container. I gave it its own like humidity dome. And it was like that plant was big and was doing great, and then it wasn't. And when it left, it left. And I cannot find that plant. You get another? Are you serious? I'm gonna have to just order mine online because there's no way possible that I'm gonna find it in the store. For I haven't found a plant in like a year, and I've been looking for it. Like every time I go into a nursery, but I don't know if I want to put mine back in the cabinet again. I think I learned my lesson from that, or if I put it in the cabinet, it's going to have to be the plant that's just in the cabinet by itself because now I know it's going to take over everything, completely everything. When I broke that plant down, it was a hot mess. Gosh, I had to cut it down at the bottom and I felt like it was doing something. And I'm pretty sure it's gone. I don't know why I'm looking for it like I know where it's at. But yeah, they are. Gosh. Let's see. All right, guys, and I have another one on here. Before I get ready to get off, I want to show you all this. This is another plant that I don't never really talk about or because it's plants. And I think it's just because I just run out of time. I like to show. Thing is about do I got all right, guys. So the thing is about Instagram is that Instagram is really, they like the finished product, the perfect thing. So sometimes I never post things like this that I do because it's like either if I can't teach people how to do it or if it's just not bang spectacular, then I just don't want to waste my time sharing it. You know what I mean? But this right here is a pot that I have various plants in because someone was doing bad just by themselves. Instead of throwing it away, we leave no plant behind. So I just planted a bunch together. I have a Florida green in here, philodendron Florida green. I have a painted lady, philodendron painted lady. I have philodendron Brazil, which these right here was supposed to be cool. I had them on a plank for them to start growing up, growing all the way on there. And I believe that this was like the biggest size that they was going to get. And guys, I wish I could do a size comparison between a regular. I'm gonna go get my other Brazil, and then I'm gonna show you the size comparison between the leaves, so you can see that these leaves are pretty big. All right, so this is my unhappy Brazil, and she's been unhappy now for years, and I'm starting to think this is just her resting face. So we just gonna make this work. Okay, so this is a Brazil, okay, and this is a Brazil. Now the green is starting to fade a little bit in there, but you can still see it. So you all see the size different in the leaf. I'm doing this very stupidly. I'm so sorry. Look at this right here. You see, all right, there we go. Look at the size difference in those. Okay, this one will completely overlay that one. Although that's not a good comparison. But there we go. Anyway, guys, so, and it's also a pearls and jade or enjoy. So yeah, so that's what I have in here. The plant's been doing pretty good in here. It was either toss it or go. And that's why I like the clear pots because you can see the roots in there. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna check to see that I want to make sure that nobody asked me any questions and I got past, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get off here for a little while because I do need to get some watering going, and I can't move around with this going. I do have what's that? One of those little cameras called. Anyway, I do have one of those, and I can get those going, so that way it can maneuver and it can move around so that way you all can follow me all the way through. GoPro, that's what it is I have. But it's a lot of work, and sometimes if it's so much work, I get overwhelmed and I won't do it all. But anyway, let me check my messages, make sure we're good, and then I'm gonna get off. I didn't even say I love him so much, but after like a month, I know you know, I'm glad you brought that up because it's like I love my section over here, my trailing plant section, right? I love them, especially like in the morning time when the sun is hitting them. It's like the beautiful. But other than that, it's like I'm bored with it. And I don't know, maybe sometimes because when things just look so good and it's just working so good together, you just get bored with it because it's not needy, doesn't need your attention. Sometimes that happens to me. And the part that always scares me over here, if I'm complete, to me, pothos, all trailing plants should come with a disclosure saying, I will get mealy bugs. Because that's the thing is, this section over here, since I've had a plant room, whatever plants I put right here is always susceptible to pests. I will buy whole new ones, take those down, treat all the other ones, but boom, it's coming. So this right here is like just a beautiful disaster waiting to happen, But I'm riding it for the ride for right now. Yeah, man, really, like I don't know what it is that I do wrong. Like I always follow for right now, let's not jinx it. All of these plants are great right now. No problem with none of them. But I don't know what I do. I don't know if I get a little too comfortable and I go and buy a plant. When I go buy a plant, I don't check it. I just throw it over there. But boom. Now, this is the crazy part. I have absolutely no pests, no mealy bugs on none of the other plants in the house. Now, I don't know how that happens, or maybe it's because I have some stuff separated. I don't know, but I'm not going to be mad about that. But I can say so far going into this year, so I don't have any pests or I don't have anything to be worried about. So we're going to see. Hopefully, I don't get desperate and start looking at clearance prices and start going buying a whole lot of plants, because I will do that. But yeah, I'm gonna do my best to make it work. I'm gonna tell you that. All right, tell you that much. Well, I'm gonna hop on IG in a little while because I'm curious to see if you got your Diet Coke today. All right, y'all take care.